Hey everyone, welcome back to the Famiboards Discussion Club. This will be our second live stream, and today we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 launch that's upcoming. Just some of our stories about it, some of our predictions. So we're pretty excited to go ahead and get rolling on that. Today joining me, of course, is Irene
Hello, hello, hello.
and VolcanicDynamo.
We're gonna be playing a new Mario Kart in less than 3 weeks. Can we just consider that, folks? We're playing a new Mario Kart in less than 3 weeks on our brand new Nintendo Switch 2 systems. Now, if you got your pre-order in, of course.
Of course.
That's gonna be so hype.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I guess before we get into talking about the Switch 2 itself and our stories about the launch and our hopes and dreams and all of that, let's focus on the present. So, what all have you been playing? Just in anticipation.
I'm not sure
Well,
if in anticipation, but
Just in general, then.
just in general, then. I have not been playing much games like recent weeks because life stuff has been happening. I think the last game where I like sat down and had like an experience in front of my TV, it was with Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which I
Mhm.
played to
mhm.
completion a few weeks ago. Really good game. Really fun game to just like one of the hands down like deepest, most customizable gameplay RPG mechanics I've seen in a game in like a very long time. Like you have
Mm.
these characters, and each character plays with such unique mechanics and unique battle systems, and it's just so much fun to tinkering with the. I love it when RPG games go like deep, like when
Mhm.
there's you can really go down into the mechanics for like hours on end, like just like you can do in like Baldur's Gate 3 or Xenoblade Chronicles X, where it's just like so much systems to learn and to wrap your head around, and doing it is so satisfying and rewarding. And especially in Expedition 33, when you can just like uh, uh, take a character and be like, okay, I can optimize this character and sort of like do these specific moves in a specific pattern. And when I do it,
Mhm.
I dish out ungodly amounts of damage. Like
Mm.
it is such a power trip that is like yeah, it's all
Okay, so
it's honestly getting like ridiculous. They nerfed the best move, which is called Standall. But with that move, if you optimize it correctly with Mael, you can do like 2 billion damage and like
I love big numbers.
yeah, if you're one of the people that love seeing numbers go up, you should definitely
Mhm.
try Expedition 33 because it's such a numbers game to just stack up your attacks and just see those numbers go up and up and up and just enjoy to wreak havoc with like, oh, there's a lot of like secret optional content and a lot of like optional super bosses and stuff, and it's so fun to go to an optional super boss with an overpowered build and just like one shot that person.
Nice.
It is such a trip.
Okay, so that sounds like a strong recommendation for Expedition 30. Wait, 33 or 31? 30,
33.
Clara Obscura. Yeah.
Definitely. I was a bit uh, mixed on the story, to be honest.
Mhm.
The story is great. It's a really great story, but I think I have some reservations about it, but it kind of turned my expectations on its head because I expected to go into it and be like, okay, this is going to be a hell of a story and a hell of a ride with some cool mechanics to boot. But it was the opposite. It was like a good story, nothing outstanding, but still serviceable. But then the gameplay part of it was like absurd. So it is a strong recommendation, but mostly if you're into like getting into the knees with like RPG mechanics and battle systems and just go nuts.
Okay, cool. All right. Volcanic, you been playing anything good lately?
Well, I haven't exactly been playing a lot of games lately because I've been a little busy making one, actually.
Oh,
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, so it was me, regular of the podcast, regular commenter and question asker Suswave, and a few of our friends and close partners and stuff. We participated in the Solar Punk Game Jam that was held through the Day Zero Games Solar Punk Jam that was held by Anima Interactive, and we made a little game called Sussurray, which to read sort of the little description we gave. This is like a solar punk collector platformer where you're basically cleaning out different areas of a map, and you're trying to sort of work together with a community to help sort of help like reduce pollution and sort of restore a little area. We did this over the course of about 3 weeks. It's about a 3-week jam. And if you're interested, you can go on itch.io and play it right now. It's very glitchy. There are a lot of collision glitches that I did not get to iron out before the final submission time. We were going down to the wire. We submitted our project at like the end time for us was like 3 a.m. We submitted at like 2:50. But even so, even if you try it, run into glitch, we appreciate you checking it out, appreciate your interest. And after the judging period for the jam, we plan on releasing at least one more build with some collision fixes, with some updated stuff. So we're gonna keep sort of chipping away at this as we go. Very excited, very, very proud of what we've managed to accomplish. So
Nice, very nice.
That's really cool. That's really, really cool. I love game jams. Game jams are so fun to just like whip something cool up over like a short period of time and then publish it. And it's such a cool like collective effort. Was there many games in the game jam?
There were in this jam there were 74 entries.
Oh,
74 entries.
a lot.
And one thing that we're very thankful of is that when you go on the main page, the default sorting for like the list of the submissions is by popularity.
Ooh.
And I'm pretty sure thanks to folks like you on Famiboards, we have been consistently near the top, if not at the top. I loaded the page now, and our game is listed right now as the one that is the most popular, which honestly means a lot to all of us. So again, thank you everyone on Famiboards and everyone in general who's already played the game. And we really hope you stick around for that upcoming update, because we are really excited to give you a more polished version of this project.
That's awesome.
I do need to try the other games though on the jam.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. I don't have what I've been doing isn't been nearly as cool. No, I've kind of. It's funny because we're waiting for this big new graphically impressive for a handheld system coming, and the games I've been playing mostly for the last month have been Picross. And
Good taste.
yeah, I mean Picross is always a good time, and Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I kind of bounced off Wilds. And so I was just like, I'm just going to go back and play GU, and I'm just really enjoying that right now.
Hell yeah.
That's great.
But I mean, sorry, go on.
No, I just said that's great.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, aside from games, I guess I've been running the 101 Essential Nintendo Switch Games thread on Famiboards, which we're going to be revealing the results from that countdown starting tomorrow, the 19th as of this recording. And those are going to be going through until the Switch launch. So hope everyone's looking forward to that, because that's been pretty exciting to work on. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to lately.
I am so much looking forward to seeing. This has been a great event to like. It has been so much fun to scroll and see like everyone's favorite Switch games and like making educated guess of what is going to come out in the top or in the top 10. I have a strong feeling that Breath of the Wild is going to come out very strong, because it's topping
I think I think it performed well, yes. Well, but I can't confirm or deny any placement.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to find out.
You're under plight of silence, WestEgg.
Yes.
As of now.
Yeah. All right, so we can go ahead and get started with some questions we got from the community for this live stream. So to start off, we've got the big one, the one I think we may all have a story for, which is from Josh5890, which is how stressful was it trying to get a Switch 2 pre-order?
All right, I'm going first with this one because,
All right.
oh my goodness, I had a night, and Josh knows that I had a night, but I'm gonna tell this story anyway so everyone else in the world can know. So I was ready for the midnight pre-orders. I was planning to try to do Best Buy as like my primary, Target as like my secondary, Walmart if I had to, and GameStop wasn't gonna do anything until 11 in the morning, so that was out right now. So I get up all the websites. I'm ready. I have it on my phone. I have it on my computer. I'm ready to go. I'm refreshing and I'm ready to go. Everything's so slow. Everything is so slow. First off, Best Buy doesn't do is like locked and doesn't do like anything with its queue system until like 12:40 at night. So, or 12:40 in the morning rather. So I'm waiting on that. I'm trying to refresh the pages for like the system and some games and some accessories over on Target again and again and again. I managed to get the system and the games in the cart on Target. I keep trying to place the order. The order's placed. The order's canceled. I do it again. The order's placed. The order's canceled. I get into the queue on Best Buy. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on like multiple devices, just waiting. I get kicked out of the queue on Best Buy. I go back in the queue. I get kicked out of the other queue. I'm in the queue for the system bundle. I'm in the queue for the system with some games. I'm in the queue with just the system. I go back to Target. I try it again. Doesn't work. By the end of the night, I have 5 canceled orders through Target for a
Oh, dear.
Switch 2 and some games. Best Buy keeps kicking me out of the queue. I don't get in. Someone mentioned, oh, try to do Walmart. I was like, okay, I'll do Walmart. I'll go on to Walmart. I'll try to click on that stuff. Nope. Nope, sold out immediately. Sold out. So I'm just like, so it's like 2:30 in the morning. I've been trying to keep myself awake, listening to like Mario Kart music on the Nintendo Music Trademark app, and I'm just like, dang it. I really have to do freaking GameStop, don't I? So I wake up the next morning. All right, it's time to do GameStop. I go in. I have it on my phone. I have it on my computer. GameStop crashes. The website crashes. Okay? So I'm just sitting here just like, oh no, 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 refresh, refresh, refresh. Please, please work. I need to just get this goddamn system somehow. All right. So where I can, I try to put like the games in the cart. I try to put all of that stuff in so it's ready, waiting for the system to come live, right? And then it was at a point where it's like, okay, it says it's click for interest or something like that. It doesn't say put in cart, just click for interest. People say, hey, click it anyway, and it'll go into your cart. I click it, and it goes into my cart. Not the system bundle, not the one with the digital Mario Kart. I had to get Mario Kart separately physically, but it was fine. I get the system. I click it. I place the order. I get an order confirmation number. I don't get an order confirmation email.
Oh no.
And this is like at noon. So I'm just sitting there going, oh no, look, I really just have to move on with I really just have to go move on with my day. Look, you got a meeting at 2:30 or no, I didn't have a meeting at 2:30. It was Thursday. Or do I? I don't remember now. I don't know. It wasn't because it was this was on Thursday. Okay, so it was like, okay, or something. So it was like, okay, you just need to like go take a break, go take a shower, go relax. You're gonna be fine. Just try to deal with it. And then when I get out the shower, it's like 1:54. I look at my phone. I have the order confirmation email from GameStop. I'm just like, thank goodness, it's all done. My 14-hour saga of trying to get a Switch 2. I'm free. Oh gosh, darn, free.
Oh, you did get there eventually, you know?
Yeah.
I did get there. And then I got it. And then I got into the Nintendo pre-order system. So I ordered a Switch 2 for my dad. So yeah, I guess at the end of the day, fortune did favor me, and we are good to go. But that was a saga. That was an Odyssey, a Super Mario Odyssey,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
will.
And we do.
Yeah. And I guess my pre-order story is the polar opposite. It's an epic story in 2 parts. The first part is
good.
I go down to the store. The second part is I get a pre-order. Finn.
Yeah.
You. I'm very happy for you. I'm very
Yeah,
happy you had a good experience.
yeah. It
Yeah.
was. it is kind of expensive because it was from one of the big chains, and the big chains has like the standard Swedish price, which is 650 for the Switch 2, is like a bit more expensive in the big chains than it is if you take it from like Amazon, and even with the shipping, it would be more cheaper to get it from like Amazon or Best Buy or something. Than get it from one of the chains, but I just took the easy way out because I didn't want any hassle. So I did have to swallow the price tag, but that was fine because it will be worth it. I think that when you're playing Tears of the Kingdom in 4K and HDR, the last thing you're thinking about is that it cost money. Because
Fair.
it will be so worth it. Yes.
So my story ended up being fairly similar to Volcanic's, but not
Oh.
quite. It makes sense because we're both in the U.S., so we're going from the same retailers, and it was the same system. They had the three retailers, Best Buy, Target, and Walmart, that were even doing them at midnight, with GameStop doing them the next day. So yeah, I did the thing where I logged in at midnight, had all three up, refreshed them all. Had it in my cart for a while with Target, couldn't get it. Got through the queue in Walmart, and then it was just like, no, you didn't. um, but and then I would have gotten one from GameStop the next day, but I happened, like, okay, so I mostly work a remote job, but like once a quarter we have like a strategy meeting that I have to be on site for. And
Oh.
so that was like the one day of the
Oh.
3 months I couldn't like request PTO to go to GameStop and try and get an order or something like that. So and it was also in another city I had to drive like an hour for. So when I'm driving home from that, I like called my local GameStop and I'm like, "Hey, do you still have pre-orders?" And they're like, "Nah, it's we sold our last one like an hour ago."
Oh.
And that actually held longer than I thought. So initially I was like, I'm not gonna get one. Um, but a few days later, I actually got a DM from a few people that said Walmart had stock. So I went on to Walmart, and sure enough, I actually got one pretty easily there. So it was just a couple days later, delayed, but I was able to get mine like not too far into it. So it definitely could have been worse. At least I got one. And I haven't heard anything from the Nintendo like direct buy pre-order thing yet, so but it's fine, I don't need it.
I'm rooting for at least one of my friends who needs a pre-order through the Nintendo. So please, I hope they can get it. Please.
All right, so from Sammy J9, what's going to be the first game you play on Switch 2 and why, if there's any particular reason?
Do I need to explain why Mario Kart World's gonna be the first game I'm gonna play on my Switch 2? Do I need to go into detail?
You like
I'm gonna go
Mario?
into detail anyway. Oh my God, Mario Kart, Mario Kart looks so good. I feel like I mentioned this when we were doing the live reactions to the direct, but Mario Kart World feels like they're like, hey Volcanic. You like how Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is good with the world building? You like exploring? You like seeing these characters in the cool costumes from Torbit, wish they were in a game. That was good. You want your gender identity in a video game now? Okay, there
Awesome.
you go. There you go. So, yeah, Mario Kart World is looking incredible. Touring Peach is my gender. I cannot wait to do literally everything in that game. Fucking jumping on rails, bouncing off the walls, going on, exploring the world. That game looks so fun. I cannot wait to play it, and it is absolutely going to be the first game I play on Switch too.
The first game
That
I'm gonna play is I'm going to do a back-to-back replay of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And on yeah, I've been meaning to ask my dad. He has an HDR screen, so I've been meaning to ask my dad if I can borrow it to experience Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom back to back in HDR. It is gonna be like historic. Like it's gonna be like probably the best playthroughs. I mean, I've done like over 20 playthroughs of each of them, but this is going to go down in history as like the maybe the best playthrough since the game came out. And it was a bit like it's hard with replays because you ideally want it to have gone a long time since your last replay to make everything, because you do forget a little bit of things here and there, or not forget, but things feel less like fresh and or feel a bit more fresh, if you know what I mean. So I was meaning to like not touch the games for a long time before the Switch 2 edition replays. But then I had to do the direct speculation on the thread. So I, in the quotation marks, had to boot up Tears of the Kingdom again to fool around with Ultra Hand and make the Fami friend pilgrimage come to life. But I love the game so much, so I'm like, never ever in a million years will I get like bored or feel like things are getting like trite playing Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild for that matter. So even if I still have it fresh on my mind, I am just so excited to do this like super epic HDR back-to-back replay. It is I'm really excited for it.
So I probably won't be too far behind you on that because I also do want to do my like 60 FPS HDR playthrough of both games. I've only played through Tears of the Kingdom through once. I played through Breath of the Wild twice, so yes, I'm a filthy casual. But no, the first game I've got to play has to be Mario World or Mario Kart World. It's the Switch 2 game. It's what's going to be it's what's coming bundled with the system. It's yeah, like I've got to play it first. It's the game they want me to play it first, and I'm like, okay, yes, I will, Nintendo. I will play that first.
Yeah, I'm actually skipping Mario Kart World for the time being, because I mean I love Mario Kart, but to me it kind of became a little bit of a financial decision. But
That's fair.
I am also definitely going to play the new Deltarune, which is an amazing get for Toby Fox to like get featured in the Switch 2 Direct as a launch game. That's incredible.
Very exciting. Honestly, I still need to play. I still need to play Chapter 2. Maybe I'll try to find time to replay Chapter 1 and do Chapter 2, so I can be ready to jump into Chapter 3. Which is sad. It's kind of weird that I haven't gotten to play it yet because I'm actually a pretty big Undertale fan and I really enjoyed Deltarune Chapter 1. I kind of just didn't get to playing Chapter 2 yet.
Yeah, Chapter 2 is amazing. So you have a treat to look forward to.
Have they confirmed like how many chapters there will be? Because I've kind of had the idea that I might like wait for the complete thing, but because I've also played Chapter 1 but haven't picked up the others yet, or
I think
the
it's
other
5 or 6, something.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just curious.
But how many chapters is there? Only Chapter 3, isn't it? Like Chapter 3 and 4 that is going to drop on June 5th.
Yeah.
3 and 4, yeah. Because Chapter 2 is pretty long. It's like multiple hours. So Chapter 3 and 4 is gonna be like pretty fantastic.
I'll probably just play them eventually then. Like, I mean, I was going to regardless, but I probably don't need to wait. I'll just wait till I've got a gap or something. All right, so we have another question from Comisar. Once you get Switch 2, what do you plan to do with your current Switch? You gonna hand it down? You gonna trade it in? Store it carefully as a personal museum piece? Or just still use it for Switch-compatible games?
Honestly, haven't really thought about what I'm going to do with my OLED. I'm probably not going to like just give it away. And I also still have my launch Switch, which is actually currently docked. Because it is. I have to think about it, to be honest. I guess there's not too much of a reason for me to hold on to the OLED. If I have the Switch 2, but I'll kick that question down the road.
Yeah, I actually found out just today what I'm gonna do with it because before sitting down to record the podcast, I was at my brother's place for a visit because his girlfriend is turning 40. So congrats to her. And we just had a kitchen sit in the kitchen and we chatted games because he likes games like not as deeply as I do, but he still play a lot of from time to time. And then he just like, I would really like to play Final Fantasy 12 again. And I'm like, hey, Final Fantasy 12 is on Switch. Switch 2 is coming. I'm gonna have a Switch that is just gonna collect dust. So there you go. So my brother is gonna lend the Switch from me to play Final Fantasy 12. So that's what I'm gonna do with it.
Okay. As far as what I'm gonna do with mine, so when I got the OLED, I kind of just put my launch switch near my PC for when like I stream or do stuff with friends. And so that kind of became like the dedicated like streaming switch or whatever that's like just always by my computer. So it might be like another round of downgrades where my OLED becomes that. And then as far as like my original, it may become like the loaner switch, or I've been thinking about setting up like an exercise area at my place, and that might become like a dedicated Ring Fit Adventure switch. So we'll see.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I haven't decided on that. All right. So from 3DS Boss, have there been any games that you all have put on the back burner to play on Nintendo Switch, whether they be first or third party?
Tears of the Kingdom. It's been Tears of the Kingdom. We're gonna continue the running joke of this podcast of me not having played Tears of the Kingdom beyond the start of the podcast, because when we started the podcast the first time, I think that was around the last time I actually touched Tears of the Kingdom, and now it's like, okay, might as well wait for the 4K 60 version and just play it then, whether it means restarting the game or it means going, or if it's just continuing from where I left off. Honestly, the real question is, am I going to replay Breath of the Wild first and then restart Tears of the Kingdom? That's the real question for me. But yeah, at this point, it is Tears of the Kingdom. There are also just like other games I haven't started, which I haven't deliberately been saving for Switch 2, but at this point, I might as well save them for Switch 2. A lot of the smaller ones, like another Code, I haven't gotten to play yet. I happen to get a Miitopia on sale. Maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll play that now, but I'll probably wait for Switch 2 for that. Small things like that mostly. But yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is the one that primarily comes to mind because I know that 4K 60 update is going to be so good.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, I think the only episode of this podcast you weren't on was the Tears of the Kingdom episode.
Oh yeah, that was just you and me and Battleground, yeah.
Yep. And I have not touched it more since before that episode came out.
Yeah.
Oops.
That's fine. Some games are when I do mine, it'll be a similar question or answer, but okay.
Yeah, but I think it's so cool to play them back to back because I think Fendrift made this point several times on the forum, which I agree on, is that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom really feels like a duology. They really belong together, which makes sense because they go both in the same world and one is a direct sequel. But playing them back to back really feels like, it almost feels like A Link to the Past, where Breath of the Wild is the 3 first dungeons, and like the Dark World, like half of A Link to the Past, that is Tears of the Kingdom. So they both really feel like two sides of the same coin in a way, because when you play Breath of the Wild and it's amazing, and then you play Tears of the Kingdom, and they just fit really, really well together to me. And when you play and beat Calamity Ganon, and then after that you go into the depths of Hyrule Castle with Zelda, it feels like this natural segue into like the second half of one big giant adventure, and I think that's really cool.
Definitely appreciate that perspective, and maybe I'll try that out. So now I kind of do want to do Breath of the Wild before Tears.
Yeah.
So similar to what you had said about Tears of the Kingdom, I think my equivalent of that has been Elden Ring. I played through. I got it on PC when it came out, and like everyone was playing it, and I beat like one of the first like story bosses. It was like it was like Margot the Giant or whatever his name was. And that was like, I was like, yeah, I did that. That was rewarding. And then like I went to another area and a big dragon came out. The dragon killed me. I was like, I'm gonna fight that dragon later, and then I never did. So I will pick
See,
up I will pick up Elden Ring and I will fight that dragon, and then I will hopefully continue on with the rest of the game.
wonderful.
All right, so from Seventh Rest, with Mario Kart World, a rise in support for fighting games since Switch One, with Street Fighter 6 being a launch game, and multiple ways of playing games offline and offline with multiple people, will Switch 2 become a more serious contender for online this generation?
I think Nintendo's gonna try, but I think it ultimately will come down to how's the netcode? How is the netcode? Um, I feel like Nintendo games, and particularly the first party games, have been kind of infamous for having not the best netcode or the most online features, right? But now that we have a more performance system, we have pushes for that sort of material. I think there is a chance. Honestly, here's going to be my sort of question that I'm thinking of, and I think this will really determine some of its fortunes. Will the Switch 2 get GTA 6 and GTA Online with it? Because I feel like I feel like that's gonna be like a big place where a lot of people will play. I mean, at the same time, Switch 2 has a native Fortnite at launch. It has plenty of other stuff, so I'm sure it'll still be fine. It will definitely. I think it'll be better than Switch One, but um,
Yeah,
yeah, kind of like I'm in a very maybe kind of place due to just historically.
I could be wrong, and I'd love to be wrong about this, but I don't think GTA 6 will come to Switch 2. That's just that's the tea
Hmm.
leaves I'm reading, but who
Yeah, I
knows?
can understand that. No, I get it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not sure about if Switch becomes a more serious contender, how much of that has is going to have to do with game chat. Uh,
mhm.
Hmm.
because game chat did not impress me too much on because of the lag mostly on when you could see each other's games, but maybe that doesn't play too much into it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think, but maybe game chat would be like this huge pivotal is it pivotal you say sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, pivotal, huge pivotal thing for the online life of the Switch too, so we'll see.
Yeah, we could have a whole episode just based on game chat alone, I feel. But yeah, I'm skeptical, but like I think that's for a more casual market that we may not necessarily be a part of as far as
Mm.
like we're familiar with Discord and stuff. We may like not see the appeal, but like someone who's just like casually into video games might just be like, "Oh yeah, cool. That's a neat feature and I'll use it with my friends and stuff."
And let's be
Also, sorry, go ahead.
No, and let's be fair, with the incoming potential enshittification of any service, maybe it's nice that Nintendo's kind of got its own thing set up just in
Yeah,
case for
Discord
more
may
casual
have
audience.
rocky waters ahead. But also in the chat we have some disagreement from Steve and Illy about GTA 6 coming to Switch. So yeah, again, I hope I'm wrong.
Ooh.
But yeah, we'll have to see on that. As far as my thoughts on that, uh, I think you have like Smash Brothers and Mario Kart. Those are Nintendo's flagship online games. They're going to be fine whether they have like mail by pigeon net code. It's just they're that popular.
True.
But and I think the rollback net code is on the. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's on the publishers themselves, like not necessarily on Nintendo. Right, like it would connect to like their servers, not to like anything Nintendo's running. That's my understanding anyway.
I do feel like to an extent it also was at least in part like a hardware thing where while it wasn't impossible to do rollback, it does take processing power. And the Switch One, while it could do it, wasn't as powerful enough to run it well. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, and RecTech chat says that it's on the developers, so there's probably some sharing there. But yeah,
Hmm.
I think if some of the third parties want to make it work, they can. And
Hmm.
everything we've seen, at least what I've gathered, I'm not too super technical. But it seems like there's no reason the Switch 2 can't basically do any of the basic features, say, the PS4 had.
Mm-hmm.
But that, yeah, it's just kind of my view on it. From Napping Rat, do y'all think that that there will be a decent number of unrevealed future Switch 1 and 2 compatible first-party games like Rhythm Heaven and Tomodachi Life?
Hmm. Tough to say. I feel like if there are any more small scale like remasters or smaller games that might be coming out, then I could see that being like, oh, Switch 1 games that have Switch 2 versions. I think all the big ones are going to be Switch 2. Like, we're not going to get like the next 3D Mario, for example, whenever that comes out, because obviously Bonanza is the same team. Like, that's going to definitely be like a Switch 2 exclusive. But like, if we get like I don't know, if we get like Twilight Princess HD or something, or like if we get Metroid Prime 2 remastered or something like that, I could see those kind of games still being on Switch 1 and being compatible with Switch 2. But I don't know if there's like a bevy of unannounced projects that we don't have, you know? So that's like my feeling.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I'm just getting into the like direct speculation groove because the season is upon us, and yeah, we'll see if there's a direct around the corner, and I kind of I kind of think a little bit about Dog Bowser's hilarious little Don Matrick moment where he's just like, we have a product that is called the Switch One for people, and
Yeah.
which he got a bit clowned on that by some people, but you know, maybe there's truth of that they actually have maybe not a lot more, but some more Switch One games in the pipeline. Like maybe it's like scraping barrel stuff, like more HD remasters, and but it's hard because I think we've heard a lot about X game is gonna be the last big game, like Tears of the Kingdom. They don't have any major games after Tears of the Kingdom, and the last big Switch One game is gonna be Prime 4, and now we have like Tomodachi Life and Rhythm Heaven coming. That's next year, right? 2026?
Yeah, yeah, 26.
Yeah, so with those
Oh
games
my gosh.
dated pretty far out, I think it's fair to say or speculate that maybe there are like cool Switch 1 games coming out that are not bottom of the barrel stuff, that can be, I don't know, ARMS 2, hopefully, or like, you know, like
Yeah.
tentpole stuff coming out that we will perhaps see during the remainder of 2025. So I don't know if decent number, but hazarding a guess is that I think we will have one or two more like OG fairly significant tentpole Switch 1 releases coming this year and next year.
So
And let's
I'm
be,
go ahead.
and let's just be honest. Tomodachi Life, that is absolutely going to be a tentpole Nintendo release.
Yeah,
Tomodachi Life
of course.
on 3DS did numbers.
Yeah.
Did numbers. And if Nintendo gets even part of that success for the sequel, ooh, it's going to be big. You were saying, West?
I'm gonna say something that I think is going to make people mad because they know it's true.
Shoot.
I think the
Oh.
next mainline Pokemon generation will be cross-gen.
Okay.
And I think people will be furious about that.
Okay.
Because they'll be like, it's being held back, or it's because it's already kind of a conversation around Legend ZA.
Yeah.
But no, I think that is happening. I think just the past behavior of Nintendo Game Freak, I guess, regarding how they prioritize Pokemon
Yeah.
launches, they'll want that sweet 150 million install base. I think that's absolutely going to be cross-gen. As far as other games, yeah, I think we'll continue to see game. I don't want to necessarily say bottom barrel, but games that are less intensive. I think we'll still get a lot of indies on the Switch.
Oh, absolutely.
I think games that are like multiplayer focused, but more casually. So, like, say maybe a Mario Party, but I was thinking more Fortune Streaks. That's always my cope. I could see that being a cross-gen title, or something that's primarily for Switch One, and that still needs to happen. Or like even like I was talking about earlier, Picross.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think we'll still definitely be getting stuff like that. At least that's how I view it. And before we go on to the next question, it seems like Steve has faith in Jeff to save us as far as announcements, and I never have faith in Jeff. I'm just gonna say
Oh,
Oof.
that. I've been burned too many times by Jeff Keighley.
he did cook last year though for Summer Games or Game Awards 10th anniversary. I thought that was a great show.
Yeah, that's fair. Although we had a whole podcast about kind of criticizing it, if I recall.
No, that was the 2023 Game
Yeah,
Awards. I don't think
that
we
that was
didn't talk
the
about 2024 awards.
Wow,
I
we've been doing this for that
probably
long.
wouldn't have watched the 2024 Game Awards anyway, but I mean,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember. I remember I was dual monitoring that with another game.
yeah.
But all right. So, speaking of Steve, our next question's from Steve. Will we see him? And this isn't the thread. There's a picture of Snake posted. I think that was Naked Snake from Metal Gear 3, which would be the remake. So,
Yeah.
are we gonna? Do you think that's going to be a Switch 2 game?
Correct. Sure. Why not?
Sure.
Just do it.
I don't
Just
recall
do
if
it,
there was like
Konami.
I don't recall if there was like a PlayStation exclusivity with that or not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, not.
That's another reason why I could see why there wouldn't be.
Yeah, but bring Snake. Bring Snake.
Nope.
I'd say.
Nope.
Okay.
It's coming out. It's coming out to Xbox Series. So
Yes.
Okay.
So-
Okay. I wasn't sure. Like, yeah, I was just basing off of what could. Yeah. Anyway. And then there was a follow up question on a more serious note. What are your all's thoughts that for the first time since the GameCube, Nintendo are now closer to the other consoles in terms of feature sets and power? And how do you think it'll shape first and third party games?
I'm excited to see what Nintendo can do with more power. We're already seeing it with like Mario Kart World. We're seeing it with the extra power and performance in ports of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. Bonanza is looking really good with its good performance and destructible environments.
Yeah.
So that for
really.
me as a Nintendo fan, I am excited to see a lot of those aspects, right? Meanwhile, from a third-party perspective, it's going to be nice to have like a little bit more parity with PS5, and Xbox Series in terms of what games will be being released for the system. My expectations are always going to be a little measured. Like I'm getting this, like not that I don't play third-party games on my Switch, but like it was never necessarily the best place to play them. And I do technically still have a PS5, so it's like it's still going to be balanced in that way. But I'm glad that if I want like a portable version of these games, or I just want to use my Switch 2 because I prefer my Switch 2, I'll at least in the early years I'll have more, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
So I also really appreciate that, hey, in terms of if we're talking about, oh, this being a more modern system with more power, also having the more modern, having more modern stuff in terms of being like, hey, we have modern account systems. All my old games are still here, right? Nintendo building that sort of games ecosystem. Something capitalism system, but
Yeah.
no, I think it'll be nice. It will be nice. I'm excited to see what Nintendo does with the power. Third parties, we'll see what happens.
Monolith Soft, baby.
True.
Yes.
Woo!
It's gonna be so glorious.
Yeah, I'm a bit miffed that Xenoblade Chronicles X2 is like less possible now that we got the definitive edition with new content. Um,
Uh,
or
this, yeah, this is a bit of a tangent,
yeah,
but do you think we will see like Switch 2 remasters of the mainline Xenoblade games? Not remasters, but like Switch 2 updates. I know that people speculate on a lot of them, especially too, since it's kind of the roughest in terms of performance. And it would be having a 10th anniversary here in like the next 2 years. But I don't know if I'm sold on that happening,
uh-huh.
but I would love for it to happen.
I mean, yeah, I just I don't think Xenoblade 1 definitive edition. It is only always it is like already a definitive edition, so I don't know if it would make sense to make a definitive version, so to speak. And I kind of agree with you thinking about it. I'm not too sure about it because I do think Xenoblade 3 looks great on the system, and I don't think I mean, the only thing I can see happening from a technical standpoint, because it really needs to be brought up to parity, that would be Xenoblade 2, because how it looks in OG Switch handle mode. It's a bit blood.
I mean, yeah,
and they could also do a definitive edition that is has Torna built in to the base game. Like they're like Xenoblade Switch 2 edition, better resolution, and Torna is included, like something like that.
Yeah, I could see that them doing that for definitive edition. Obviously you can always do resolution updates, and maybe even pushing it to 60 for whatever you can. Like you could even do that with 1 and 3 as well. And just say even if it's already a definitive edition, aren't they doing a Switch 2 version of Xenoblade X, or did I dream that?
You dreamed.
You might have dreamed that.
Not an edition, but didn't they isn't that one of the games that's getting like a patch or an update for Switch 2? Maybe I also dreamed that.
So?
Okay, never
feel
mind
free
then.
to correct us.
Okay, that's fair. And then we had one more question from Steve, which is, what are your positive and negative opinions on Switch 2? Despite the console and software being phenomenal, do you think that there are some things Nintendo are faltering on? Maybe patches, increased price on software, poor communication, stuff like that. And other than that, there's hope that we all have a good one.
Thank you
thank
first. So yeah, $80 Mario Kart is a tough pill to swallow. Especially since I didn't get that bundle. The system is a little pricey, not that bad, but that games are a little expensive, and as I've seen you discuss, in terms of being able to like capture like the narrative of what's going on, especially in those first few weeks, there was a lot of stumbling. Is it enough to necessarily make this system a failure? I mean, we saw the pre-order numbers. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But also like, I like my Switch. I'm kind of down for a system that is my Switch, but better, that will last me another 8 to 10 years, right? And I think the mouse con are a really nice little feature. I think they're really cool. So give me my mouse con. It might be an iterative sequel, but sometimes an iterative sequel can be really good. Galaxy 2 enjoy over here, okay?
Yeah.
Galaxy
Nice.
2 is great.
Go
ahead.
I love what I saw of the Switch 2 and of the. I love what I saw of the Switch 2 of the reaction stream we made. I was like, went away from that stream and from that presentation like really really impressed. Like I sort of had a vision dream idea about what a Switch 2 would do and what Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition would do, and it's pretty much ticked all the boxes for me. I honestly struggle a bit to come up with something negative to say. Like I think that even though I can raise stuff like the price point and the narrative, like you touched on, Volcanic, like as things that you can be skeptical or critical about, it's nothing that personally tickles my opinion center, so to speak. It's nothing that I'm passionate to think about. Oh, price. So I don't know. I think I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to pass. I have nothing negative to say about Switch 2 at the moment.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
As someone who's generally fairly positive on things, I can throw out a few criticisms, but again, like I'm gonna get it on launch. I don't think Mario Kart World needed to be $80. Like they can get away with it. We're gonna do it, but it didn't need to be. Yeah, game chat looks a little bit questionable. I'm not, I've seen some takes online where it's like, this is using resources that could have gone to games. And it's like, no, they built those resources in to accommodate that. But still, um, I just don't know how much I'm going to use that just compared to Discord, assuming Discord doesn't go belly up in the next year. Um, Let's see. As far as other things, I'm a little disappointed that game key cards seem to be like the default for publishers, third-party publishers.
That makes
Just because
sense.
I like, I always have in my head that like if like the world ends and I'm like in a Fallout shelter and still have my Switch and video game collection, I want to have my physical games I can plug in and still be able to play my Marios and stuff, which
Yeah.
Nintendo's at least committing to that, but it is a little disappointing that like we do live in a world now where you absolutely do need the internet in some way to play even like physical games. So I guess those are my criticisms.
Oh my god,
And
I
then,
just realized that Nintendo pulled a second Don Matrix with that you have
No.
to be connected to the internet in order to play the games whatsoever.
yeah, that's one of those things where I don't think because that's like a horse armor situation where it's become so normalized we don't even really think of it as odd now.
Yeah, the world has changed a lot. Has changed so much since
Mm,
2013, for better and for worse.
Yeah,
yeah.
true, true, true.
All right, we have a question in the chat from Illy, which is unrelated question. Is there a Famiboards Discord server? Not for the general public. Um, No, there's Famiboards doesn't have a Discord server. We do have some overlap with the Nintendo Pipeline community, but that's basically the closest thing to that.
Hmm.
And yeah. So let's see. Going back to questions from the thread from Octosplatek, joke question: are you disappointed that the Joy-Con 2 aren't called Mouse or are called MouseCon and not RatCon?
Devastated.
Yeah. Okay. And
uh,
Hard
then
question.
yeah, it's a missed opportunity. It's a tremendous missed opportunity.
Okay, and then the Nintendo Switch saw the return of a number of older Nintendo franchises from spin-offs, remakes, and wholly new entries. From the long-awaited such as F-Zero and Advance Wars to left field resurrections like Another Code and Endless Ocean. For each of you, what is one Nintendo franchise that you are confident will return in the coming years of the Nintendo Switch 2? And what is a Nintendo franchise you think might just be dead and buried for good, or at least waiting another decade for?
GP Robot's dead. Give up the. It's dead. It's
Chibi
dead.
Robo's rip.
We'll get our NSO. We'll get it on NSO. That's gonna be great. But it's dead.
And
I'm
that is
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
and yeah, I refuse to answer this question with Arms 2 because Arms 2 is alive and kicking somewhere in the deepest corners of EPD. I'm certain of that. Um, I think that I think that I'm confident will return. I have a wild card answer here. I'm confident we're gonna see some kind of Ring Fit Adventure spiritual successor on the Switch too.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
for
feel
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Something in the same vein of a workout something game with a bonkers peripheral like that would be. It would be really cool, but I also think it's possible because Ring Fit Adventure was like a huge success on the Switch, and so definitely that. And Dead and Buried for Good is as someone who um, keeps on hoping and hoping and hoping and hoping and hoping for franchises to to come back and to be alive. And I hate to say it, but Star Fox.
Mm.
Ooh, you think Zero just killed it?
Yeah, and I think that
Oof.
I love Star Fox Zero. Don't get me wrong; it's a really good
Yeah,
game, and it's
I
a
actually like it too.
yeah, it's a really good game. But I think it just did a number on the IP. Oh my god,
Fair.
I did not mean to make like a funeral vibe on the podcast right
No,
now.
no. It's totally fine. Okay, so I'll give. Yeah, I've got a few thoughts that kind of relate to what you just said.
Okay.
It's not about Star Fox, but there is a series that people call dead, but I think it should be reframed as complete or retired, and that I don't think it will ever receive new entries, and that is the Mother series.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I think its story is complete, like its inspiration, like doesn't necessarily call for a continuation of it, and if it ever continues, it will be in the form of remakes, which would be fine. I
Mhm.
think that's the only way that Mother 3 ever gets released in the West at this point. But so that's one thing that I think it's dead and buried. I also think Custom Robo probably is too, as much as I don't want it to be, just because
Uh,
the original creator's already gone off and done a spiritual successor that isn't in the IP, and that's generally something that's a little bit hard to recover from. I mean, it can be, but yeah.
wait,
As far as
what was the spirited successor?
I don't remember what it was called, and in fact, it may not have even like finished. I just knew it was
Oh,
happening.
okay.
I'd have to look it up. I think it did come out and didn't do well, but yeah, I could be speaking from dreams again.
Always
But
be
as far as what I do think is going to come back, I don't think F-Zero is done coming back. I think it's going to continue to come back.
yeah, yeah,
I I think we will eventually get a new F-Zero game,
Mhm.
and I want to say the same about the Famicom Detective Club. I think we will receive a follow-up to Emio.
yeah.
I
Sure.
think that's a
Yeah.
series that's rife to continue to keep on continuing.
Great picks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. And let's see. Last question we have from the thread from Splunkog. What is each of y'all's most anticipated game for Switch 2?
Besides Mario Kart World?
Yeah, I think this could be two questions.
Yeah, yeah.
This could be like what is your most anticipated currently announced game, and probably like what are you anticipating in general for the Switch 2?
All right. Well, yeah, Mario Kart. But also DK Bonanza. I'm really excited to like. It feels good to be like really excited for like a big DK game. I think honestly. So those are like the two I'm most excited about. I'm also kind of eager to play a Pokemon game with good performance. It's been many
Fair.
years, so very excited to try the Scarlet Violet patch and to see how Legend ZA runs. Seeing that 60 FPS footage just was like, oh, thank goodness.
Mhm.
We're in a good place. But yeah, it's Mario Kart and DK for me. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked at length on this podcast about how much I'm looking forward to playing Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition. I can talk about it again if you want. I
Yeah.
am very much looking forward to playing Tears of the Kingdom in 4K and HDR, and it's gonna be amazing. And it is going to be such a remarkable lift up, like facing, because the thing is that I can answer Metroid Prime 4 Beyond because I'm gonna play the Switch 2 version of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, but it doesn't feel like that big of a lapse between that and like the Switch 1 version of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. The
Hmm.
Switch 2 version looks better, but like playing Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition is just going to be transformative. Like, oh my freaking goodness! Looking at the comparison footage, I can't believe my eyes. This is going to be a a transformative gameplay memory for me. And as far as the second part of this question, which is like most anticipated game that perhaps is not quite announced yet. I mean, it's so hard to think about Switch 2 without immediately jumping to anything made by Monolith Soft and what Monolith
Hmm.
Soft can do with the Switch 2 tech. And then like the easy thing to answer is like I would love to see Monolith Soft's long since speculated about medieval action RPG.
I really hope that's real. I hope it wasn't just like an artistic
Yeah.
ad, like because
Yeah, I think they can pull it off. Like, and they seems like such a good studio from like a development pipeline. perspective because they're really efficient. They made Future Redeemed, and 2 years later they made X Definitive Edition, and I think they, in the not too distant future, they can churn out another masterpiece, and that masterpiece, I hope, is like, I love Xenoblade, I really do with all my heart, but sometimes you just want the studios that make the game you love, you want them to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Best they can do is Xenosaga remaster.
Oh my god!
I would actually, I would like that
Yes!
though.
I would buy the hell out of that.
I would too. As far as what's been announced, for me, it's DK Bonanza. Like
Mm-hmm.
It looks really,
it
really
looks
good. Yeah.
that was, and then like I'm vaguely interested in like not even vaguely, I'm interested in a lot of the other stuff they've shown. Like I've never gotten too big into FromSoft games, but I'll probably try and play Dusk Bloods. Um, as far as what could come in the future, I mean, we could do the say the line WestEgg, and I could say Fortune Street because that's definitely a big one. But as far okay, I'm gonna give a slightly different but still on brand answer. This year they had announced the football club and Madden games for the Switch, and I want to see college football. I just like college football more than Madden,
Mm-hmm.
and I yeah, I definitely want to see that.
Amazing.
All right. So
Good
that
picks.
yep, that goes through all the questions we had in the thread. So just kind of an open-ended question here at the end. Just our general Switch 2 predictions. Games, hardware updates, anything, free form, go for it.
That's tricky. I think the only concrete prediction I have, which will surely come true, Pokemon Generation 10 in 2026. Without a doubt, that's
Yeah,
going to
yeah, yeah,
be
yeah.
the big holiday game, 30th anniversary. They're gonna want to push for it. That I feel like is the main concrete thought that I have. The rest, I'm just like, let's see when it comes. When are we getting 3D Mario? I don't know. We got DK Bonanza. We might not get 3D Mario next year or until like 2027 or 2020. I don't know. DK Bonanza might serve that role just fine. There are things that I think would be nice to see. Like we don't know, like we don't really have like a 40th and any of the 40th anniversary Mario plans yet. So like maybe throw in Mario Maker 3 with the Wonder theme that was compatible with MouseCon. I mean,
I would like
they're
that.
not making an update for Maker 2, so maybe that means we're gonna get Maker 3 this year. I mean, it could be
Yo,
good.
yo,
That
yo,
could be
yo,
good.
yo. Mario Maker 3 with Wonder as a template.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
With Wonder theme, with MouseCon support, with way more pieces.
Yes. Oh my god,
Chef's kiss.
this is Chef's Kiss, and you're making me like really excited for it because I mean, just think about the stuff you can do with the Wonder Flower concept in Mario Maker.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Yeah. Being able to rapidly do a switch in a mechanic like that, just ooh.
oh, and then you
Even
can
just being able to play with the power-ups.
yeah, you can make the Wonder Flower effect in Mario 1 and Wonder effect flowers in Mario World because you can like switch the for example in Mario Maker 2 you can have a ghost house in Super Mario Bros. 1.
Mm.
Imagine you can have like Wonder Flower effects in Mario 1 and Mario World. Amazing.
Mm.
That would be so like I wonder if they would just have like pre-canned ones that you can apply or like give you some like knobs and controls on like the effects and the variables and turn X into Y and like all of that.
Yeah,
If
they
they
can
went
just
that
go
far with
nuts with
it,
it.
yeah, if they went that far with it, oh, it's all over. It's all
I
over.
like that, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna throw a long bone prediction and say that we're getting 3D Zelda in 2027 to coincide with the movie.
Mm.
Okay. I have because I was gonna make a point about 3D Zelda, and I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna ask a very important question about 3D Zelda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Will we be going to space?
Yes, we will be going to space.
Okay. I I feel like we've talked about that at some point, but yeah, I want to see it in space. I want to see Zelda in space.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like the biggest plot twist in Nintendo history because then it's gonna turn out that the Zelda movie is also like taking place in space, and they're making Zelda into like the next Star Wars.
Oh my gosh. So that's why we're not getting Star Fox, huh? Because Zelda killed it. Zelda became the new Nintendo space opera, huh?
Everyone gets to go to space except for Star Fox.
We're
Um,
getting a medieval Star Fox game instead.
No.
so it could take that form, but I think the thing that I'm going to predict for this generation is that the inevitable 3D Zelda we get is going to be different in some way. Like I'm talking like Wind Waker levels of different as far as like what had been the previous status quo.
Uh huh.
Because like Wind Waker was a big shakeup both in art style and like
Yeah.
general mechanics and whatnot. I think we could get something like maybe like urban fantasy Zelda where it's a more modern day or futuristic setting or something like that. Or like I don't know, these are things I used to be like I don't know if I want this to happen, but I don't know. I'm kind of starting to think that they could do like more weird conceptual stuff with Zelda or Zelda in space like we were talking about. So I think that could happen I think that could happen this generation. Just something really that like we're like wow, they went there and did that.
Yeah, and uh, to that I will say that I definitely think we're getting an art style shakeup.
Okay.
I think we're past the cell shade, or not past like the cell shading as in like the rendering technique, but we're definitely past the Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom aesthetic phase.
Yeah, that's
We're
fair.
getting a new, at least a new aesthetic direction we're getting, I think. And that direction will like, not like overlap with the movie or like they will look identical to each other, but I think the change in aesthetic direction is going to signify that, hey, now this is the next step for Zelda beyond Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I do like the Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom aesthetic.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I'm wondering if they would go like more like realistic again because obviously the movie's live action, or yeah, it's something I'd probably just have to see to believe.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like
Wait,
super realistic because like Aonuma has I think don't quote me on it, but I think he has said that like he prefers the was it good the GDC talk? They said something about like how they um tried with the Wii U tech demo and then they went with the style inspired by Wind Waker HD instead.
yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just something that like we won't know until we see it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess my bottom line was I'm expecting some kind of big series shakeup.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a chat question from Callian. The existence, or just a comment, the existence of minecart shields and Tears of the Kingdom implies the existence of Zelda Hawk's Pro Skater.
Hey,
Yes,
maybe if we get an
correct.
urban fantasy Zelda, we're getting actual skateboards.
I could see that. I could honestly see like Hoodie Link skateboarding. Like I could, I think that would be great. And then like he
Yeah.
has like, oh, and then yeah, he has like his friend who's like, I don't want to say like rival gang or whatever, but kind of like punkish Zelda. I think that would be awesome.
That would be great.
And there's this kid like and like Ganondorf's just like a burly dude who's like king of the skate park. Oh
I want to
god, it's
see.
turning in this is turning into like some fan fiction or something. I love it.
Do it.
And okay, but I also want to throw in a different
Yeah, go
switch
for it.
to series, and I think that 3D Mario is gonna see us return to not return to because we kind of already went there recently. But anyway, I think 3D Mario is might be like first of all, I do think that 3D Mario is going to be follow the Bowser's Fury formula of being like
Hmm.
semi open world. But I also think that since Galaxy was in space and Odyssey was around the world, I think that the next 3D Mario we're gonna see return to Mushroom Kingdom.
Okay.
Mm. I can kind of envision this concept where like you literally start out in the Mushroom
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom and then it's just like go. Get to Bowser's Castle or get to wherever you gotta go and just
Yeah.
go. And the whole world is connected as like four or five or however many big, like Bowser's Fury style like hubs just navigating through that.
Yeah, and that's why I
That's
said
almost like my
that,
gut feeling. Yeah.
because that's kind of what Bowser's Fury did. Even though Bowser's Fury isn't technically the Mushroom Kingdom, it's still like
Mm-hmm.
question
The
mark
vibes.
blocks and
Mm-hmm.
pipes. Like it still has it's still Mario-ish, whereas Odyssey and Galaxy was like not in different places.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I
Yeah,
just
I
had a
understand
thought,
that.
and Volcanic, you can correct me on this. Do more Mario games take place, like the mainline games, take place outside of the Mushroom Kingdom than within it?
I want to say yes. Thinking about the games that definitively take place in the Mushroom Kingdom, we have
We've
Super
got
Mario
one,
Brothers. We have
yeah,
Lost Levels. I'm assuming Lost Levels. Mario 2. Doki Doki Panic. Doki Doki Mario doesn't.
three
Mario
doesn't.
3 doesn't. Mario
Yeah,
World doesn't. Mario 64 takes place in Peach's Castle, but you're also in Painting World, so you could technically argue either way of
yeah,
which one it is. So I'm gonna give points to neither of them. The land games both don't take place in the Mushroom Kingdom.
yeah.
Um, Sunshine doesn't. Galaxy doesn't, unless you count besides the intro.
Beginning,
Same
yeah,
with Galaxy 2. Um, the four do Super Mario Brothers, and I guess Super Mario Run do. So we're on 7 to 8. 3D Land technically does, but 3D World doesn't. And neither does Odyssey except for the ending and Bowser's Fury. And the Maker games don't really have a story. So I'm
yeah,
not gonna like count those either way. So there are more main series Mario games, especially 3D Mario games, that take place primarily outside of the Mushroom
Uh-huh.
Kingdom
Yeah.
than games that take place in the Mushroom Kingdom. And honestly, most of the ones that do, it's mostly the new Super Mario Brothers and related games inflating that count because there's no story.
yeah. That
Because
was just like a weird thought I had.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it really is like not a lot of Mario games actually take place within the Mushroom Kingdom main series. So
Okay, so
interesting stuff.
yeah, so if what Irene said was the case, where it's like it goes back to the Mushroom Kingdom and like hones in on that, I would also see them doing an art style shakeup like we talked about with Zelda. And I'm gonna say the thing that a lot of people say, but just something that kind of mirrors like the animation cell look of like the official Mario art. If they could render it in that way, that would look really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They've been doing so good with making like the in-game assets look more like the 2D art. Like you could even compare it. Like go look at the renders for Mario Kart World. Look at them and how they match the more standard style, and then go back and look at the models in the game. I think a very big way to tell this is with Princess Peach and technically Rosa, but Princess Peach. Compare how her eyelashes look.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Peach's eyelashes look different in the 2D art as well as like Wonder and stuff compared to the usual 3D art. See which one she has in the renders versus she does in the game.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah. And I
It's small
have
stuff like that.
and
Go on, Irene.
I also uh I also can't help but wonder when thinking about Switch 2 and predictions. Um
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wonder if we might see, or what we might see in terms of GameCube games. Uh, and
Mm.
obviously they showed like a lot of um, a lot of like the in the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, they showed a lot of like, oh, Path of Radiance is coming and stuff. But I also think that with GameCube games, they kind of like opened the door. So that makes me think that maybe we will see Wii games too
Mm.
Mm.
on Virtual Console.
So like
Okay.
so like MouseCon kind of to or yeah, Joy like the mouse functionality taking the place of the pointer for some games.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could actually get Galaxy 2 on the Switch too.
Which that could actually be like legit
Yeah,
cool.
mouse con aiming.
Yeah.
Mousecon Joshi, let's go.
I
Mm-hmm.
still think they could have potentially happened with normal gyro aiming, but that's my hot take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could,
I just
but oh,
pre,
ooh, what?
okay. Prediction. Speaking of mouse functionality, Kid Icarus Uprising remastered. Boom.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
I think MouseCon makes it viable.
It does absolutely, absolutely. Please do it.
More, yeah, like that. More that game needs to be like in the public consciousness more.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Anybody have any more predictions for the Switch 2?
I mean, I have some, but nothing that I think would be something that I
Discussed
can
or
discuss. It's more like, yeah. Okay, I want to throw in one last quick thing.
sure.
Now that it has been updated with mouse functionality, I want to see a Game Builder Garage sequel.
Okay, yeah.
Because Game Builder Garage got updated, so now you can use mouse controls for it.
I could see that happening. Like either as Game Builder Garage 2 or just like a spiritual successor of like Nintendo Game Maker or something like that.
Yeah, because I think Game Builder Garage was really good and really underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I would like to see that.
But yeah, that's what I got.
Nice stuff.
Okay. Well, if looks like we've gone through our discussion, so I can go ahead and close this off if we're ready.
Yeah,
Yes,
sounds good.
All right. I'm once again going without my normal script, so I just want to say,
Go, go,
yeah,
go.
thank you everyone for joining in with the with the discussion, especially people who joined in the chat and sent questions onto the Famiboards thread on this. It was a lot of fun discussing all of your questions. We try and do this podcast pretty regularly, so if you have any questions you want to ask, just check out the companion thread. It's normally pinned on Famiboards. And we had a lot of fun, and thank you for listening. Peace
Yeah,
out.
thank you. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.